The Science of Storytelling. Book by Will Storr. If you've ever wanted to learn what makes a truly great storyteller and how you can become one yourself, The Science of Storytelling can take you on a journey behind the scenes, debunking the illusion that only certain gifted people can tell a good story. Will Storr investigates the scientific and psychological principles which craft a compelling story. Exploring such topics as how to grab your audience's attention and create a relatable character, The Science of Storytelling tackles everything you'll need to create an original story of your own. Introduction. Stories are everywhere we look. From the plot of the latest TV drama to the hook of an inane commercial, every form of media is trying to hook your attention by crafting a story that will get you engaged. And because we're constantly bombarded by new demands on our attention, our expectations of stories have changed. So far from being easily entertained or eager to engage with a potential plot line, modern readers have placed new demands on stories. We want something to reach out and grab our attention because we're now reluctant to give it away. We want something so compelling that it makes us care, something so interesting that it's worth ignoring our responsibilities or another form of stimulation. And for budding storytellers, that means you've got your work cut out for you. But that doesn't mean that creating a compelling story is impossible, or even that it's a secret possessed only by a chosen few. In fact, there's actually a science to storytelling and a means of understanding how the human brain responds to a well-told story. So, through this summary, we'll learn how to create a perfect story, why we want to root for the underdog, and what our favorite childhood films have in common with political propaganda. Chapter 1. We're hardwired to enjoy stories. What if we're all just characters in a video game? It's a question that gets asked a lot in discussion boards or question games, and it pinpoints a unique aspect of the human existence: our desire to understand reality. That's because reality can be both deeply personal and highly subjective. The nature of the human brain is such that our reality is colored by what we think we see. And if you've ever scared yourself whilst walking down a dark alley at night by mistaking a bush for a shadowy figure, you know how true this is. Even though that figure didn't exist on the plane of objective reality, for a moment, it did for us because our brains concocted a story based on the information before us. Our brains tell us other stories that impact our reality as well, with the most notable example being the story of our own lives. And although "you are the hero of your own story" might sound like an inspirational quote, it's actually a neuroscientific truth. Because your brain is tasked with helping you navigate your own life, it casts you as the hero of your very own life narrative and bases reality off that casting call. It might even stretch the bounds of objective reality in order to realign it with that perception, like allowing you to believe that, because you work hard, it was okay for you to steal from your boss, for example. That simple but universal flaw of human perception is what motivates average people to justify their bad decisions and causes convicts to insist that they're innocent, even when they've been proven guilty, or to identify themselves as having above-average levels of kindness and empathy, even when they're convicted murderers or rapists. Our brains are also driven to other elements of stories, like the desire to create a linear narrative by ordering our memories into cause and effect sequences which help us to understand that this thing happened because something else happened first. This understanding of cause and effect means that your brain knows you're not the only character in your life story. Although it may cast you as the central figure, your brain is driven to identify and connect with other characters by understanding how they think and how their lives function in relation to yours. And in fact, the urge to understand others is so powerful, our brains even ascribe relatable human characteristics to inanimate objects. That's why we often instinctively say, "ouch," when we drop an object, as though we're assuming it can feel pain. And because we're so intrigued by the minds of others, we love engaging with stories even more than participating in our own.